Hello everyone! You alright? Yes, you look it, fair play. Yep, it's me, Osian, here again with another story ready for bedtime that's arrived here in my little story corner in my little part of the world. And this story this week is a very special one, as they always are every week. But this one is called The Girl with Two Dads by Elliott. And you'll notice that Elliott's name is the only name on the front of this book. And that's because not only did Elliott write the entire book, the story itself, but she also drew the pictures. I know, that is very, very talented. I know a lot of people who can draw a lot of cool pictures and a lot of people who can write a lot of cool stories. But not everyone can manage to do both at the same time. But I think that is quite enough of me talking about a book. And I think we should get straight in to listening to it and reading it. What do you think? Yeah? What do you think? I think the book agrees. All right, well in that case then, you know what needs to happen just before we start any of our stories, don't you? Yeah? So first of all, I have to ask, are you all ready for a story? All right, just to prove it, can I see those listening ears, please? There we go. Excellent stuff. And so, my friends, we shall get straight on into The Girl with Two Dads by Elliott. If I can find the first page, that is. Here we are. Pearl was so excited because a new girl was starting at her school tomorrow. Pearl loved making new friends, and she hoped the new girl would want to play with her. There we are. And here's Pearl, ready to go to school with her bag. I bet some of you haven't even had the chance to do that yet, have you? Go to school? Such fanciful notions. Pearl went to bed early that evening, and she hoped she'd be the first to meet the new girl. I've never seen anyone so excited to go to bed before. Apart from you guys after a story, I should hope. And look, there we are. Pearl and the little Teddy, ready for a nap. The next morning, Pearl got ready without being told. She untangled her hair. Oh, that can be a difficult job, can't it? Look at my hair. Oh, it takes me days of combing. She brushed her teeth and tied her own shoelaces. Can you tie your shoelaces? You can. It took me ages to learn. I was like 10 or 11 or something. I just almost got my hands in knots. I almost tied my arms together rather than my actual shoes. But anyway, this is not my story. This is Pearl's. When Pearl arrived at school, she saw the new girl plucking up the courage to say goodbye to her dad. Pearl smiled at her, and a cheeky grin came back. A cheeky grin. You all know about a smile, don't you? You know how a smile works. But can you do a cheeky grin? Shall we try one? After 3? Yeah? Okay. 1, 2, 3. That's the one. You've got it. I'm sure Mum and Dad could do it as well if they really, really tried. Look how tall Dad is. He's massive. He's like the size of a house. I'm sure your dad will like that as well. But what about this new girl? Her name was Matilda. She could run really fast, climb tall trees, like the ones they're climbing here. Look at them. And loved jumping in muddy puddles. Oh, That's amazing. I'm sure you enjoy jumping in muddy puddles as well, don't you? We haven't had much muddy puddles because we haven't had much weather for it, but I'm one for a muddy puddle as well. She's just like me, thought Pearl with a smile. The next day, as Pearl skipped into school, she saw Matilda waving goodbye to her dad. But something was different. Pearl noticed that this dad was different to yesterday's dad. Yes, look. Different shoes, different socks, different trousers, different everything. What on earth is going on there? Maybe he was a dedicated follower of fashion. Let's find out. Pearl was confused, so she asked her new friend, "Where is your mum?" One mum and one dad isn't what every family has. I have 2 dads who love each other, replied Matilda. Pearl shrugged and said, "Okay, cool." My dad is a teacher, said Pearl, doing a crazy cartwheels there. What do your dads do? One is a doctor and one is a builder, replied Matilda. I'd love to be an architect. My dad's said you could come round for dinner tomorrow. Oh, wow, that's really kind of them, isn't it? Pearl couldn't wait. Her dad was really fun, and with 2 dads at Matilda's house, it would be double the fun. If Matilda's dads love cake and sweets as much as my dad, then maybe we'll have them for dinner, thought Pearl. Can you imagine? Cake and sweets for dinner. No need to mess around with broccoli or peas or sweet corn, although I do really like peas and sweet corn. Peas are amazing. Sweet corn's very, very nice. But can you imagine a full cake for your dinner and then to have pudding? Oh, I would absolutely go snooker loopy for it. I would. After what seemed like the longest day ever, it was time for Pearl to meet Matilda's dads and head to their house for dinner. Yeah, there they had the school, and then driving off and away to Matilda's dad's house. They sat at the table, and Pearl wondered what cake or treat they would be having. But when dinner arrived, it was the same food she had at her house. It still looks very nice, though. What do you think that is? I think you're right. I think it is spaghetti bolognese. Spaghetti bolognese. I am a big fan of spaghetti bolognese. I'm a big fan of food, really. Do you like food? I thought you were. And when Pearl wanted to jump on the bed, Matilda's dads said she should sit quietly instead. That's fair enough, really, isn't it? Matilda's family wasn't turning out to be as different as Pearl hoped they would be. When Pearl arrived home, her mum asked, "How was Matilda's? Was it good fun?" "Well," said Pearl, "it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. Matilda's dads made me eat healthy food, they wouldn't let me jump on the bed, and they have all these rules," huffed Pearl. "They are not that cool after all. In fact, they are really boring. Just like you and Dad." And I think, with that, people calling their mums and dads boring, just like everyone else is, we've come to the end of our story, but with a very cool page of pictures. Because of course, a lot of people think of families as a mum and a dad. But there are loads of different ways of going about it. For example, you might have single parents, as somebody who has just a mum or just a dad. Or, like here, you have two dads. Or maybe even two mums. So many different people. Some people have their grandma or their granddad look after them as well. There are so many different ways of making a family. But, as Pearl found out, just because you've got two mums or two dads or just a mum or just a dad or however your family looks, that doesn't mean that they're particularly more exciting or any different to you or me or your mum or dad or mums or dads. And I think that is something really important to say, especially here in June, as it's a time of the month called Pride Month, where people embrace all of the differences that make up us as humans. And it's an interesting and wonderful thing to be able to do, to just look at people and look past any sorts of differences, because under the skin, we're all exactly alike, almost. We are very different, but underneath it all, we're all humans. And we should all be really, 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 really nice to each other. Are you really nice to other people? Are you nice to your mum? Are you nice to your dad? Are you nice to your mums or dads? What about your gran or your granddad? Well, I am very, very glad to hear it. But that is our story for this week, and I'll have to wait patiently now for another story to make its way here to my little story corner. Or maybe I'll go off in search of one ready for next week. But I'm afraid we've reached that time of the day. It's bedtime, isn't it? In that case then, I need to find my good friend, my blanket. Get him ready. And so, until next week, my friends. Good night. Just